Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame. Um, Before I get started, I'll let y'all see my shirt. I usually get a lot of people wanting to know what my shirt is all about, what it's saying, and all that stuff. So I'll just let y'all see what the whole shirt looks like. So yeah, anyway, at this point, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a thoughts video. Um, I was very disappointed in this episode because normally I live for power. All shows can have episodes from time to time that are slow or whatever, but this was just, to be 100% honest with y'all, because I'm trying not to like go there like I did when I watched it last night or, early this morning. 100% honest truth about this episode is that this is something that they should have just left on the cutting room floor. I really don't understand. Like, why was this an episode? Like, I really was sitting up there the whole time, like, okay. Like, normally, like, Power is one of the shows that I can be dead asleep, tired in my spirit. Like, if I literally, there have been times that I have been like, okay, Power came on. I was doing other stuff or whatever, and then I'm like, okay, I'm tired. I can turn Power on and wake right up, like not miss a beat. Like it'll wake me up. But this, y'all, this was not it. And all, like I said, this is something that they should have left on the cutting room floor. I don't understand why this was an episode, and then y'all, this was a pause episode. Okay, y'all saw what happened last week where it was a Dre episode. Y'all know what happened to him. And I'm just like, why is we doing this? Like, this was a whole pause episode. And I mean, ain't necessarily nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, this was a trash episode. I'm just sitting up here like, what? Like, I'm really waiting for something to happen where I'm like, ooh, let me get my life. You making me get my life together right now. Nothing. But I'm going to try to at least give y'all 10 minutes of something, because I ain't even gonna lie, I'm so glad that I'm not one of those people that sits there and I record as I'm doing my recap. I have done that in the past, and it was because to me the shows were interesting when I was doing them, and I was trying to multitask and whatever, and that actually ended up working out in my favor. But as far as this episode was concerned, oh, I'm so glad that I ain't do that. Like, that episode was boring. Nothing happened for real to me that was of substance, to the point of where I was like, okay, this was needed as a part of this story for me to care, to be intrigued by, like, nothing. Y'all, anyway, so the episode started out with Paz being at the house. She's taking care of her daddy. Her daddy don't even recognize who she is. Her son is at the house. And because Angela's benefits have been, frozen, they're showing us, what we saw before. Paz, of course, went and was trying to find answers about what was going on as far as her sister's death. And of course, if you've done the things that you were supposed to do while you were living, your family is able to benefit financially. Her benefits were frozen because they were trying to figure out, what was her connection to James St. Patrick, aka Ghost. And because every time you looked up, she was basically in cahoots with him, and they've actually had relationships in the past and in the present. And so they're looking like, all right, now the most is going on now. We will always be really, really close to catching him in something, and then all of a sudden, information that he shouldn't know about, or he would have a heads up, and it's like, okay, how would he know, or how was this able to slip through the cracks somehow when we really had an airtight way of getting him on something? And all roads led back to her because she stayed sitting up there protecting him, his family, and all that. So y'all, anyway, Paz's son is looking crazy right now because the benefits, like I said, have been, frozen. He was in school, and it's because of Angela that they were living in the apartment that they are currently living in, and because, she was able to, basically Angela wanted them to live where they're living and wanted that boy to be in school. So that's where the money was coming from. And since that's been frozen, he hasn't been in school. He and his feelings and was like, when is, the money gonna come through? Am I gonna be able to go back to school? And all that. And so his mama is just trying to explain to him, like, hopefully everything will be unfrozen. You can go back to school, do whatever you're gonna do, whatever. Y'all, she's at the house with her daddy. And she turns on the TV, and as soon as she turned the TV on to sit there with him, they are showing the news, showing, what's happening right now, which is everything being announced that he is running. And it is rumored to be him being the running mate and all that, as far as him being lieutenant governor. And y'all, for her daddy to not know nothing, to remember nothing, as soon as he heard his name, he said it all the way off. And I'm like, you don't even know your daughter. That's how stuff like that works. And that always surprised me. And it always made me be like, well, dang, that's messed up. You don't even know your child right now. You're not lucid enough to recognize your child, somebody who's taking care of you. You live with them. They taking care of you. That has to be frustrating. And as soon as he heard this man's name, he said it off. Remembered exactly who he was. He knows his connection to Angela, all this. He said it off. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you remember him, but you don't even remember your daughter sitting in front of you. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So everybody looking like this, really, I'm tired of my spirit. She done went and saw Tasha, trying to figure out what they can do to get to Ghost, because every time you look up, he come up smelling like a rose. He done already did his You Can't Stop Me tour, I Can't Be Stopped tour, or whatever it was called. Y'all know what he was doing. That whole episode, he did the most. And she was just like, he always wins. There's nothing you can do. He always wins. And basically, look around. I have nothing. The little bit he's giving me, because I have his children, is all I have. And if we do anything, that's going to stop the little bit that I have. Pa's kind of looking like, I hear you, but he needs to pay. And she, at this point, is still under the impression that he was the one who killed her, whether he actually pulled the trigger or not. So she is going to various people trying to figure out what's going on. She done went up to the to Angela's old job and was like, I need to speak to Cooper Saxe. Prior to her walking in, literally, old boy was like, he done went off on the security guards, like, why y'all let him come up in here? He could have killed me in my office. And like 2 days ago, he gotten fired, and for some reason they hadn't deactivated his badge. First of all, every job I'd have been at that required me to have a badge that allows me to get in, if I don't work there anymore, you deactivate it. You're supposed to deactivate it and take it most of the time. Now, unless it's just something that's going to be a keepsake, like the job I work at right now, if I was to leave right now, if I wanted to keep it as a keepsake, they would deactivate it when I leave at the end of the day or whatever time I'm leaving. And they would say, oh, they would ask me, do I want to keep it as a keepsake or whatever? If not, they would just take it and destroy it. My old DHR stuff does not work. My chip don't work. My little thing, we had I don't know if they updated it, but I had this chip that I had to put into this little metal part. And it was, specific to me, and it would allow me to get into the building and all that stuff. That would not work right now. First of all, because they didn't even let me keep that. That wasn't a part of what I could keep. I just had my badge that I could keep. So I had a chip. Now, what I have now for my current job, it's built into the actual badge. And like I said, you should be able to have had that deactivated. So I'm tired. I don't understand. Anyway, y'all, I'm sorry for going on a tangent, but going off on a tangent. But yeah, y'all, this episode was just so trash. Like, me know if I'm tripping down in the comment section. Y'all let me know. Maybe I was just seeing something that I just wanted to see. Like, I just wanted it to be trash so I could just be mad like this. Like, really? I sat up here and watched this whole hour and it wasn't about nothing. Like, that's how I feel at this point. I really feel like I sat up here for this hour, was watching this for no reason. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm confused at this point. Like, what was I watching? Because I don't feel like I got nothing out of this episode. I don't feel like nothing happened in this episode that couldn't have been said within 5 minutes in another actual good episode. So this is stupid to me. Y'all, he realizes who she is. And, I mean, he really was in the middle of going off. And when she came up to them and was asking to speak to Cooper, he was just like, see, this is what I'm talking about. People coming up here looking for her. And, you know, she looking like, okay, well, where is he? And he was just like, he don't work here no more. He got fired or whatever. The most been going on. Took her to the office, was talking to her, and actually apologized for what had happened to her sister, and that they were, you know, putting all their resources into finding out what happened, and explained to her that everything came back and showed that Ghost had nothing to do with her getting killed. Like, there was no possible way that he was the killer, meaning the person who pulled the trigger. And she is not believing that that could be the situation. Like, she is dead set against believing that that's how it is. Y'all, so, you know, she had her feelings and was like, I don't understand. Like, what can I do to, like, prove something? Like, I want justice for my sister. I want justice. He needs to go down. And she met up with him another time, and she was just like feeling like she was so desperate that she had to go to any lengths to get Ghost caught up. And so she was like, well, what if I tell you that I have evidence that proves that my sister was in cahoots with him and knew about his drug organization and all this other stuff. And he was like, you know that this will compromise your sister, and the benefits that y'all was going to have coming y'all way were going to be null and void. You ain't getting it, you know, whatever. And so at this point, you know, then all of her honors and stuff would disappear. Like, everything would disappear. Her career, everything about her would be tarnished. Her name would be drugged through the mud, all that. And so this heifer basically was like, I'm willing to risk that. You know, it'll be sad, be messed up, but I'm willing to risk that to get him locked up, because I know that he in some way was the reason why my sister was killed. So she sat up there, and he ended up, you know, giving the order to allow them to exhume her body and get that phone out of the casket. Y'all, when I tell you they zoomed in on Angie's ankles and calves, she decayed, y'all. I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, no, they didn't zoom in on her face, but hopefully this is... there are so many people that are out here that are like, oh, Angie alive and Ghost alive too, and they out on an island somewhere together living it up. And I'm like, I don't feel like they went through all that and showed her in the casket before just to somehow still everybody end up losing in the end. Like, I don't know. That don't make no sense to me. That ain't making sense. We saw the body. You ain't finna sit up here and have me a part of this organization. We over here mourning her death, and I'm coming to a funeral, and this was all contrived to the point where y'all trying to get somebody else who still ain't getting caught, because he himself is either dead, or some of the theories that people have come up with saying that the same thing about him, as far as this was just something that was made up and he's not dead and he's off somewhere living it up, and he just wants the public to think he's dead and whatever. Like, y'all, this is too much. I don't know what's really going on. Can't wait for it to be over with so we can really see what's going on, who shot him, if he really did. They're doing too much. So they done did all this, y'all. She done did all this. The SIM card is towed down. She can't get nothing up off the SIM card. The few messages that are on there, all they can tell was that there were outgoing calls and there were like one word responses or whatever. And I'm just like, she did all of this. She prompted this investigation, and everything is going to be null and void as far as getting benefits. And I'm like, you are already over here struggling. You are struggling to make ends meet, you taking care of your daddy. Like, your daddy is like sick. Like, he needs somebody with him around the clock. So, girl, no. So, y'all, Blanca done rolled up on her, wanting to know, on behalf of old boy, y'all, I never can remember his name. He was the one who was over Saks, who ended up coming in after everybody else, the bald head dude. And so she rolled up on her randomly and was like, well, I was just coming to tell you that, everything is closed. Like, there really is nothing that can be done. And there is no evidence that's proving that Mr. St. Patrick did these things, whatever, y'all. I'm just like, oh gosh. I was just like, really, this whole episode was trash. I was just like, why? They literally could have said all of this in 5 to 7 minutes. Everything we saw in this hour could have been said in 5 to 7 minutes. 5 to 7 minutes. So she got mad that it just seems like nothing can be done for her. She ain't gonna be able to get no justice. Ain't nobody trying to have no pull to do nothing. She done went to the house and got the gun, Angie's gun, and she about to go and try to do stuff for herself. So she following Jamie around the city. Then she ends up going to his event that we saw where, they were kind of like celebrating the fact that he was going to be running for lieutenant governor. If I'm not mistaken, that is the event that they had at Truth. And she saw him, she followed him, and she finally got eyes on him. And every time she was about to like kind of try to shoot him or whatever, somebody would get in the way. So she started having flashbacks of everybody basically saying like, girl, like even Tasha told her, like she wrote up on Tasha like 2 different times, like girl. So like the second time she wrote up on Tasha, she was like, you were right, he always wins or whatever. And so she was like, well, why did you call me earlier? So y'all remember that scene where he came into Truth and Paz was there and she was just like, this is gonna be my last time coming, whatever. That whole scene that scene happened again. And what we do learn is that she was like, I'm desperate, whatever, I want to do this, just mic me up, wire me up. And so she's thinking that she's going to get him to confess to his drug empire and all that other stuff and whatever. Y'all, that ain't work out. And the last time she went over to Tasha's house, I think that she was still mic'd up and Tasha was talking about a few things as far as how he saved their family. And Angie saved their family because she did all these things, kept them out of jail, all this other stuff. So I'm thinking the way she looked in a moment that she was still mic'd up. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but I'm like, girl. Y'all, that was a waste of an episode. I'm sorry, I can't get over. That was a waste of an episode. Lord. Y'all, do y'all know how much stuff actually has come out that I could have been reviewing? Actually doing these recaps on that actually is worth it. Like I really was like, ooh, I'm gonna wait until today and I'm gonna do this first. Yeah, I did this one first, but I could have done without seeing this episode because that's how trash it was. Y'all, I'm sorry for saying that over and over again, but I cannot believe how trash this episode was. Anyway, so she was like on her way. Like I was in the middle of saying, y'all, she started having flashbacks of everything everybody has said. As far as Jamie said some stuff, Tasha was like, he always wins, and you can walk away. Like, you're at the point where you can walk away. Her sister dead. Like, you're in a position where you can walk away. Like, everybody who was talking to her, she had flashes of all these people saying this stuff. And right when, she was really trying to wait for a moment, it got to the point after she had those little flashbacks, she turned around and walked away. And of course, as soon as she walked away, he ends up looking over after, he was talking and mingling with everybody, just chopping it up, trying to, get all chummy with everybody. This is when he notices Paz is there. See, he literally sees her with her back facing him walking away. And then she disappears into the crowd. And I'm just like, wow, she really could have got you. Like, in all seriousness, she could have been the one to get you, but she didn't. So she walked away. But y'all, ain't nothing going on with this episode. I was just like, somebody please help me to find something to talk about. Y'all see I dragged it out for 20 minutes, but I was just so disgusted by how nothing of an episode this was. And she's gonna be in the next episode too, and I'm just like, y'all see, my posture's even. I'm just like, I'm so y'all. I cannot. I was just like, this episode was trash. What is going on here? Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought about it down in the comments, because I'm confused as to why this aired. Why was this not left on the cutting room floor? I'm sorry. Maybe y'all see something I don't. I don't understand the point. And I think we gonna eventually see Spanky somewhere. I think I saw a picture somewhere in one of the groups that I'm in, and you see bloody feet. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Spanky, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Tommy that got him or somebody in the streets, but whatever. But in all honesty, y'all, I could have filmed myself putting together my TV stand, and it would have been more entertaining than what I saw on this episode. That is sad. People have subscriptions to this network to watch this show specifically, and this episode was trash. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna be back later on with some more stuff. There was something that came on that I was supposed to do like early in the week, and I'm behind, and now there are 2 episodes. But yeah, y'all, the show is Family or Fiance. So I think the second episode that came out, I was supposed to do the first episode early in the week, and then I got caught up with work and whatever. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and I'll see y'all later on. Bye. Hey y'all, I did forget to mention one thing, which was that Pause had a meeting with a lawyer, and they wanted to talk to her because unless this is really contrived to a point where it's like y'all did the absolute most to make this man disappear and seem as though he's dead. I really think Ghost is dead, and if he's not, they doing the most to cover up the fact that he's alive. Anyway, what I forgot to mention was that she went to meet up with this lawyer, and she went strictly to be like, whatever Jamie left for my sister, I don't want it. And so he was like, oh yeah, and the person who was the lawyer was old boy who used to be on the Cosby Show. Y'all know, not Denise. Is it Denise? No. The one, y'all can't even remember that man's name. He was with the other sister, that husband. He was like really annoying, and he seemed ditzy, and he had like the little curly hair at the time. I don't forget what his name is in real life, but yeah, he was the one playing the lawyer, and he was like, oh no, it's not for your sister, it's for you. He came in after Angela passed away and updated his will, and he actually has money set aside for Pause. So, you know, she straight up told him, like, I don't want nothing. I don't want no charity for him. I don't want nothing. Right? So it got to a point where Tasha was called in. So Tasha came in late after her. And so she was like, oh, of course he left the money, all this money to Angela or whatever. And so she was like, no, actually he left it to me. But, you know, you should know I'm not going to take it. And so she was like, girl, you need to take the money. Like, she just straight up told her, you need to take the money. You know you need it. Go ahead and take the money. Like, no. So she went and saw her son, and he was like wondering, like, are we going to get some money? Am I going back to school? And so she was like, yeah. So apparently she going to go and just be like, well, look, I changed my mind. I'm going to take the money, whatever. But yeah, he done went off. He done went and like, he really is trying to turn over. He was trying to turn over a new leaf. And he updated the will. I can't believe he updated the will and put Pause in it so that she could have money. I guess he knew the situation, knew she was going all the way through, knew how hurt she was by her sister dying and all that. And despite how much she hates him, he did that. So I was like, wow, that was pretty commendable in a sense. But anyway, y'all, I just wanted to add that in because I completely forgot because this episode was so trash.